Oh, I'm alive. I know I'm alive. I'm definitely not dead. Greetings, everyone. Oh, man. Okay, we're going to learn some basics uh, information that I always had in my mind to do this. And since I'm not very sleepy tonight, I think I'll do this tonight. Oh, another reason why I'm doing this tonight is because I did my I did a live just a while back on synonyms for the word black, and it came in a few minutes. I said, wow, it just took about 5 or 10 minutes. Before then, all of my live took 12 hours. Sometimes I had forgotten I had published it, or I couldn't. I said, oh man, I must have lost that when I recorded. But it's because you won't see it anywhere in your computer until 12 hours. So since that one was done so quickly, I said, let me do another one. Keep a good thing going. All right, we're going to talk about the unanimous declaration of the 13th United States of America. Now, you may know this document as the Declaration of Independence, but that is not what the colonists called them. Before I get started, let me show you my sources. Words that built a nation. They have a lot of documents in here. I found this in like I found a lot of my books in the secondhand bookstores. And the reason why people put books in secondhand bookstore because either they just clogging up, they don't read them anymore, but they know the value of the books. So they say, well, let me donate them to somebody. So they give them to Goodwill, and Goodwills they make a little few dollars off of them, and keep these books in circulation. I've done it myself, and I admonish you: don't throw away nothing like books. Man, books are precious. Overseas, people be on the streets selling books. So it says here the Constitution, the Continental Congress never called the document the Declaration of Independence. They never called it the Declaration of Independence. Just think about that now. So we've been given a false narrative. They called it the Unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. Now, what does declaration mean? I'm going to get real basic. First, let's look up, before we get to declaration, let's look up. Okay, I got it right here. So let's look up declaration. This is the, and I know this kind of will in your eyes using this phone, but it's more convenient for me using the phone than my computer. I have to move it all kinds of different angles. But things gonna get better. Just stick with me. I've showed you this book before. This is my go-to book for words because not only do they have meaning, but they have synonyms. This only have synonyms. Declaration, announcement. It's just an announcement. Publication. And the reason why it's just an announcement because it's nothing to do with independence. What does independence mean? Self-government, self-directed, self-rule, self-legislation. So you don't need to tell nobody that you're independent. That's all done. That's an individual thing. Independence. But they have it like it's, man. And I'm sure you had the same idea that it was like this is the declaration of a free country. Nope, that wasn't it. It was just a publication of these 13 countries, which they call states. And in law, you have to put things on notice to say, okay, we're coming together as a company. You always got to give declaration for your business. Let people know you're in business. So the business was the United States of America. And I'm going to show you that sometime, how it's a corporation. I can go off on tangents. I want to try to stick to the script. All right. Independence. I'll show you that one, right? Self-government. So if you can govern yourself, you don't need somebody else to govern you. Self-rule, self-legislation, self-determination. So, but they didn't say it was for independence. They just say unanimous declaration of these 13 countries of America. Okay. Now, let's read a little bit of it. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political band which have connected them together, connecting them with another, and to assume the powers of the earth. I'm having a hard time reading this and showing you at the same time. Okay, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitles them. A decent respect for the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impelled them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Big word. As a teacher, I always go over meaning of words. Don't assume people know what they mean. Just a habit. I'm not trying to insult those who know what it means. Inalienable. It means, let's go to the wood word. Look in the middle, L-I-E-N, lean. Okay, what is a lien? A lien is something you put against for a payment of a debt. You put a lien on a house, you put a lien on the loan. But he said these rights are unlienable. You can't put a lien on these rights. Why? I tell you right before. They're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by absorbing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrained them to alter the former system of government. The history of the present king of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations. All have in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the states. To prove this, less facts be submitted to a candid world. Okay, I'm not going to go over all that. They listen to all the things that he's done that caused them to form this declaration of separation. You know, in other words, when you're going to do something, you always tell why you're doing it. These are colonists. Now we're going to talk about how much time I got, how much time I need. Another point I want to bring up is the Constitution. I want to talk a little bit about that because this was written in July 4th, 1776. All right. So it wasn't even the country, or supposedly it was under the Continental Congress. It had to be because the United States was not, the Constitution wasn't even written yet for any guidelines for them to go by. And I talked about this before in my shorts. I talked about these 10 presidents before George Washington. I'm going to go in and name them for you now that I have my live. Very little you can do on 1 minute, 15 second shorts. So I'm going to show you who they were. And the thing about those presidents, they just held a term of 1 to 2 years. Just 1 to 2 years during that 13-year period from 1774, the Articles of Association. That was the first document. And one noteworthy thing about the Articles of Association is that slavery was abolished. It was abolished then. So there's a lot of things that has to be understood why things were done. Now, I know all this information may be foreign to some of you, and you're not going to understand anything that's being shared just by listening to me. I promise you. What you're going to have to do, or I admonish you to do, is to write down these words, write down these ideas, get your dictionary, look them up yourself, and do your own research. You see, the one thing about traditional schooling, it makes people lazy. Yeah, because you only do what the instructor tells you to do most of the time. Some people that was like me, you want to know, well, why she don't teach about this? Why he don't teach about that? Things that really interest me, they wouldn't teach on them. So you start a habit early in life of doing your own study, doing your own research. And that's a lifelong thing because whoever you're listening to, they're going to speak it according to their bias, their preference, their opinion. So when you do your own research, you're doing it for you. You ain't doing it for anybody else. I would love for someone to do some research on something that I missed or I got wrong. I'd be happy because I'm learning. You're teaching me. I want to be wrong. Okay, I'm just going to talk a few minutes more. In the Constitution, we talk about see, these are the documents in here: Mayflower Compact, speech, Second Virginia, Patrick Henry speech, Declaration of Independence, Constitution and the Bill of Rights, letter from George Washington. You see all these. These are world long documents, and I was happy to find this book. When was it published? 2000. First publishing in 2000. Okay, let's go to the Constitution. See what we can discover. This is the background. It was set up 1787. They started writing it, getting together. Before then, you had the Articles of Confederation. After the Articles of Association, the Articles of Confederation. Okay, I'm going to take you a few minutes more. Hang on. And whatever I'm sharing here, I would ask you to go and do your own research. Don't believe anything I'm saying. Find me wrong. Because I don't take it personal. If the information is corrected, then you're correcting for all the people I'm speaking with. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity. Do ordain and establish. Now, listen, this Constitution for the United States of America. Did you catch it? Okay, I'm going to say it again. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for, F-O-R, the United States of America. Okay? Now, when you go in these books and look at Constitution, every last one of them are going to tell you the Constitution of the United States of America. I've always liked to pay attention to detail. Details. What they say about details, they say the devil's in the details. To me, that means when you pay attention to the small things, you make big discoveries. You see the deviousness done in the small print. That's what they mean, devil's in the detail. Most people don't really get to the details. They just say, give me the, let's get it over with. but the details of where everything is. So why do you have for the United States here? Then you come down to the first article, what they say, Article 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. You know, when you're writing things or when things are changed or not what you think they are, you have to really be studious to change everything. And you can't do that. There's always going to be some small thing you missed, like of and for. That's an oversight. But how many of y'all catch it? It caught my, well, once I began to read and study, and I saw that, I said, man, why this for and of? I'm going to tell you why it's different. Because the Constitution for the United States was the first Constitution. But nobody can find it. Because now we have a Constitution of the United States. That's all we have of the old Constitution. We're in it, the preamble, when it says for the United States of America. So the next thing's supposed to be the Constitution for the United States of America. I found one Constitution in all my research that actually had for. And everything else was very similar, but there was changes as well. So maybe that was I got to go back and find it. That probably was a copy of the original Constitution. So the main point I want you to see is the difference between Constitution for the United States and the Constitution of the United States, which shows there are two different constitutions. Just like the states, before they were states, some of them was called territories. For example, let's take my home state, Texas. Texas state. Matter of fact, it was the Republic of Texas. The first Constitution, 1836, the Republic of Texas. Then it became the state of Texas. Which means, and when you have republic, you having a different type of government. And democracy, matter of fact, the republic type of government is the only government in the Constitution. That's the one that's guaranteed. Every state should be guaranteed a Republican government. Remember to show that to you sometime. Now, democracy, that's something else. Not because I say so, because it's nowhere in the Constitution. But I tell you one thing about democracy and republic. Democracy means, in the short version you had in school, was that majority rules, right? Yeah, that's a short meaning. Majority rules. You think that's a good thing? Might makes right. Just because you are the majority, just because you have more people who agree with you, that you should rule everyone else who disagree with you. Is that justice? Nope, it's not. Now, when you have a republic, that means you are there to represent the public. That's what a Republican means. There's a lot more to it, but I'm just skimming the surface right now because I'm about to sign off. Words are very important. Most people I know in my community are Democrats. Do you know the history of democracy? It first was called the Ku Klux Klan. Was it the Ku Klux Klan? No, that was Civil Rights Act was called the Ku Klux Klan Act. However, it had to do with the what they call Confederates, the people who fought against the Union. They call them Confederates. And they later took the term, or was given the term, the Democrats. Then the Union became the Republicans. It's a lot more to it. I'm just skimming the surface. The point I'm making is that when you have a democracy, the minorities are not protected because majority rules. So they can care less what the minority wants or say, I think. And now, when I say minority, I'm not just talking about what they call race. You're a minority under the age of 18. When you become 18, that's the age of majority. And what does that mean? Or I have to go a little longer. That means that's the age you should be thinking and acting like an adult because you've had 18 years to be taught. We can talk about that 18 years because a lot of these things that are done are based on Christian principles. These are my opinions. Do your own research. But Jesus taught for 18 years. So I say they use 18 years because they say, well, if Jesus can teach for 18 years, you have 18 years to get it because your parents are supposed to be teaching you how to become a majority. The age of majority means that you become you're able to vote, you're able to run your affairs, but we haven't been taught these things. So the point is, when you become 18, the age of majority, and you haven't done anything with your status, you haven't changed that, you haven't let anybody know, hey, I'm not a minority anymore, I'm a majority. You still are treated as a minor. I don't care how old you are. If you haven't given notice of your age of majority, and that's things you have to do, that's paperwork you have to fill out. See, being free is not a lazy thing. It's not, you got to work. And the first work is to get the knowledge of what to do. Yeah, I spent my lifetime getting this knowledge. So I'm sharing it with you. It's a lot more to be shared. But the point is, if you not show specific people that you're not a minor, you're not a minority, And not just because of your color, but because of your age. You're over 18. You have some autonomy to make your own decisions. You don't need someone making decisions for you. You're able to contract. You're an adult. I think they tried to change it to 21 at one time. But just think of it. You should start being taught in the womb. So when you come out, when you're delivered, immediately you start being taught. Not just 8 hours a day by somebody who don't really know anything about you, who's getting paid, and when the time goes, they go home and do their own business. You see, at one time, there were no schools. Can you believe that? You was taught by your parents, according to whatever business they was in. You apprenticeship under them. The only way schools came to being because it started fitting the needs of government. Government wanted a cheap labor to produce mass products. A lot of things go into that. So when the government started creating schools, they're not teaching you how to be free. They're teaching you how to help them run the government. In other words, you've been taught how to be an employee. Bottom line, you're not taught to be free. And we looked up those words, didn't we? Independence. It's all about self government. If we govern our own self and our own business, we wouldn't need somebody to come and show us. I'm learning private banking. If you know private banking, do you know you tell the banks what to do? You know how to do private banking. They're just there to serve you. But if you don't know how to do private banking, you treat it like a child because they take your money, so-called money, and they use it to their advantage. So all that's because you are a child. If you're not acting as an adult, if you haven't even proclaimed your age of majority, you're a minor. And everyone is being treated as a minor because it takes a lot of work to learn how to be the age of majority. So that was it. I just want to let you know. If you watch my shorts, you know all about this. I've been talking about this ever since I've been on. These are the things I talk about. So this is nothing new. I'm just thankful for the tool for giving this forum. I can actually spend more than a minute and elaborate on a lot of things that's dear to me. So I'm going to say that's it for now, and we'll talk again. And I'm looking to see how soon this one downloads. Amazing. No more 12 hours. Yay! All right, peace, family. Take care. Talk to you later.